Yo, what's up, family? Before we start the video, please leave a like, subscribe, and share to any and everyone that you can. This is out there a little bit more. With that being said, let's get right into the video. The Boston Celtics beat the Orlando Magic yesterday to take a 1-0 series lead, and our guards really came to play, and I wanted to take a look. So let's get into the film. Alright, how y'all doing? I hope y'all doing good. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not, make sure you take your shoes off before you come in the house. And first, we will be detailing, of course, our ball king, Derek White. I don't know where we would be without this man and his development as a shooter and as a shot creator, but he had 30 points in this game, his third 30-point playoff game of his career. He also added in 4 rebounds, a couple of assists, and 2 blocks. And here he gets our playoff scoring started with a little float over Franz Wagner. All right, so Derek White got the end result in this play, but I just like the process of this play. So if you've heard me talk about this Orlando Magic series in any capacity, one big thing that I've said is that they don't bring a lot of gap help, and they're not really going to double team on mismatches, or they're not going to help the guys. So Orlando really relies on their guys to guard their yard, even if it's Carter Jr., even if it's Corey Joseph on Tatum or Brown. They want their guys to guard so they don't help or overreact to drives and give up 3-point attempts. So what Tatum does here, he's going to eliminate the help even more by sending Jaylen Brown down. This relaxes Paolo Banchero. So he's going to see he's in a defensive stance here. Well, he looks like he's going to defend something at this point. But then you see he relaxes once Tatum sends Brown down, because that's like a sign of somebody that's about to ISO or something like that, or try to get past their man. Tatum sees that he's relaxing, gets the ball to Jaylen Brown. That catches Paolo off guard. Jaylen Brown drives, draws a defender. Derek White's open in the corner for a 3. And it's just amazing to see how far he's come as a shooter, him being a guy that came here who was not confident in the shot because, you know, he really wasn't that good of a shooter. And then coming from the 2022 finals when the Warriors, some of their game plan was to just let him shoot and do whatever he wanted offensively. Now he's a guy that's taking 28-foot trail threes. If somebody does not have their hand up on Derek White, that ball is going up, and I trust it every time. All right, so the Celtics go to Horns lift here. Tatum is usually right here. Then he'll lift up and set the screen, and then he will do that just to get that switch, and then it'll turn to a not drip handoff, but a high ball screen between him and whoever's right here. This time it's Drew Cornette. But again, Tatum passing at the right moment, catching the defenders off guard, right? So you see how he gets the ball, and then Caleb Houston's going to relax a little bit on Derek White. He's backing up. He's trying to assess the situation. You can't do that against Derek White. Good pass by Tatum. Good shot. And it's just super impressive, especially against a guy this big and Paolo Banchero, a guy that has about 5 inches of height and 60-70 pounds on Derek White. Him able to take that bump right there, not be deterred or knocked off his line, and still being able to block that off the glass. And here we got good on-ball defense by Drew Holiday, who of course we'll talk about later. But just a recognition by Derek White. As soon as Paolo Banchero turns his body to Derek White, that is a free steal opportunity. He runs it down, steals it, and gets fouled. And Derek White in these handoff situations are so important, especially against a switching defense, because if you're not up to the level and if you don't have your hands up before he gets the ball, he is just going to predetermine that you're not a threat defensively, and he's going to shoot over you, right? There's a couple times in this game where he got a handoff or he got a pass on this wing, and then it was just a really quick screen, and Orlando was either it was a miscommunication on the switches or they just switched too late. As soon as this is happening, Corey Joseph needs to be right here, right? So Derek White can either put the ball on the floor or he can pass it. If you're back at any point and he feels any level of comfort, which does not take much for Derek White to get a shot up, he's going to shoot it, and he gets the and one here. Again, taking advantage of the switching defense, the Magic don't really communicate this well between Franz and Wendell Carter Jr. So they see Tatum is coming up to set the screen, but Franz is sitting back like he wants to stay on Jason Tatum, and Wendell Carter just takes Tatum with him and leaves Derek White wide open. I thought this was impressive defense by Derek White. First, you got the activity right here, poking the ball loose into Franz's hand. And Franz had 23 points in his game. He cooled off in the second half, but the way he uses ball fakes was really impressive in his game. He showed a lot in that area and using that to finish around the basket. But here, and you see here as he's driving, he's going to drive on Derek White, but he's going to pump fake. Derek White does not bite on that. And look at the ability to get up off the ground after that. So that's as quick as Franz got up off the floor, and he forces a miss. And again, there's another situation where we're taking advantage of the switching and the lack of communication. They don't know what they're doing. Derek White caught this ball. Franz has his hands out but not up. Paolo is not up to the, like, he's up to level, but he's not up to Derek White. This is not what up means. This is to the level technically, but he has to be here. You have to have your feet on the 3-point line for Derek White not to shoot this ball sometimes, because he still might shoot this motherfucker in your face. Orlando Magic, they don't communicate this. They're just standing watching Derek White shoot threes. Here's another one. Next is, of course, our sixth man of the year, Payne Pritchard. He had 19 points in this game along with 3 assists, was very efficient, 6 for 8 from the floor, 2 for 2 from 3, and he was locked and loaded, man. There's been a lot of talk about him, good defenses and good teams, and especially like taller teams who can put a lot of size on him. Sometimes he struggles in those matchups, but he was locked and loaded in this matchup. From his first shot of the game, you could just tell how locked in he was right here at the off-ball movement with Sam driving the baseline. He's gonna go over and try to get the spacing right, and he just ends up shooting this and knocking it down. And Pritchard on the defensive side of the floor, sometimes he'll get taken advantage of, but it's solely because of his size. His competitive stamina and his ability to be sticky on the ball has never been a question. Payne Pritchard is a good on-ball defender. You know, sometimes you have these big wings who can create and who can isolate and who can score the ball. Sometimes they're going to post him up and shoot over him, but it is never about his actual defensive attributes. Like, Payne Pritchard knows how to play defense. He wants to play defense. He wants to compete. Right here, the Celtics pre-switched this pick roll right here, so Luke Cornet isn't in it. Franz Wagner gets the switch on Payne Pritchard, and he does a nice job and contests the 3. And even with 3 starters in the game, at the beginning of the second quarter, Payne Pritchard was basically our offense. He had, I think, 8 quick points to begin this quarter. And right here, doing a nice job with the pump fake, being even with 0.5 seconds on the clock. He knew that isolated with the big, shot clock going down, he knew that Wendell Carter was going to try to block this shot, right? He ends up pump faking and he gets 3 free throws. And a big factor for the Celtics win was points off turnovers. It looked like they was damn near capitalizing on every turnover the Orlando Magic had. But Payne Pritchard with the pull-up 3, look at the balance and the fluidity on that shot. And something we've seen Payne Pritchard improve in over the years is, even though he's 6'1", he's not ripped, you know what I'm saying? He doesn't weigh that much, but he has grown to be a guy that uses his size really well, but he really uses those shoulders, even against bigger guys like centers. He's able to create space with this little shoulder bump that that ain't the shoulder right there, brother, but he creates space from Cole Anthony, pump fakes, nice step through move for the layup. All right, so here we got angle pick and roll between him and Al Horford. He gets the switch right there against Wendell Carter Jr., and of course they're not going to help unless we get to the rim. He gets to the rim on Wendell Carter Jr., and you see how much that opens up Derek White and Kristaps Porzingis. He gets it to Derek White in the corner, and he knocks down another 3. And of course, we know how good of an offensive rebounder Payne Pritchard is at the point guard position, and him being this good at that size, it's just sheer want-to. It's sheer hustle. It's sheer want to win. It's sheer competitive stamina. And even being boxed out by Cole Anthony, he still is able to get the tap out, and that's all the Celtics need to get a second chance point. And again, Celtics taking advantage of Orlando Magic mistakes. Good play by Sam Hauser, trailing Caleb Houston, gets the block, and he is ready to shoot this the entire time. He's looking back at the ball as he's running. He's filling the lane correctly, getting the spacing correct. The Magic bench is too late, brother. It's too late, my guy. It's too late. He already got the ball. He was locked in shooting his ball the entire time. Perfect balance, perfect fluidity, knocks it down. All right, so we got Payne Pritchard as a screener here for Jason Tatum. We got 2 guys right here on the Orlando Magic who we would like to attack. We try to get Tatum on Corey Joseph. They switch, but Tatum drives directly into Wendell Carter. Payne Pritchard does a nice job popping out to a 3. And he knocks down another 3. All right, so again, him and Al Horford in the pick and roll. He gets switched. He gets Wendell Carter Jr. switched on to him again, and he doesn't settle. He goes right to the rim. But this subtle move right there, that hop step right there, it looks like he's just going to drive and go shoot a layup. But that hop step right there throws off the shot block timing of Wendell Carter Jr. Then he goes back to the left-hand layup. And last but not least, we have Jrue Holiday, who had 9 points, 5 assists, 3 rebounds, and 3 steals in this game. He was phenomenal defense side of the ball, especially in that third quarter when he turned up the scoring and the defense. Here, Orlando Magic go to some chin action. We've seen the Celtics run this in years past with the couple of passes to the wing and then the back screen right there to get a small defender on him. But Paulo, man, I don't know. There's not a lot of guards that can hold their own against you in the post, but Jrue Holiday's one of them guys right there, fights and contests. And at this point, like Jrue Holiday, we know that he rises to the occasion in the playoffs. He is one of those 16-game players where, of course, he's going to do what he has to do in the regular season. But when the playoff comes, he's one of the best defensive playmakers in the playoffs in the NBA. And here he pressures Paolo Banchero in the backcourt, making him give the ball up. He doesn't touch the ball for the rest of the possession. I think it's a turn. Yep. So they turn the ball over again. He does a nice job retrieving the ball and getting the pass to Porzingis, and he gets fouled. And these are the type of playoff sequences we have come to expect from Jrue Holiday. The ability to guard multiple positions, especially guys bigger than him, whether that's in the post or them as ball handlers. He makes them uncomfortable with his ball pressure, with his screen navigation, and the ability to guess where players are going and have the lateral quickness to show it. So here against Franz Wagner, he's going to try to guess where Franz is going. He guesses right. Franz Wagner is just a slippery guy at 6'10", but he stays with him. Franz ends up slipping, and in this third quarter where the game was still tight, we were down 1 at halftime. Jrue Holiday had 9 points, and all those points were off pull-up threes. Wendell Carter Jr. sees him, has his hand down. Jrue pulls it and knocks down his first attempt of the game. Well, not his first attempt, his first points of the game. But then he is guarding Paolo Banchero. Again, the ball pressure, just trying to make sure that he's uncomfortable. And he turns him twice, beats him to that spot, makes him turn, beats him to this spot. He almost turns the ball over. Nice job by Kristaps Porzingis helping on that drive. Jrue Holiday taps out the rebound. We're in transition, we're running, and a nice assist here to Derek White. And this is vintage Jrue Holiday. This is what I mean by the anticipation and having the lateral quickness to guess where guys going and to beat him to that spot, and it just throws off everything. So Franz is handling, and you're gonna see Jrue he's gonna literally jump to where Franz Wagner is going to. Jump, and he's there. And Franz just loses the handle because of the pressure by Jrue Holiday. And again, 9 points are all pull-up threes, the steal, and a 3. And of course, Jrue having the versatility to guard up and down the lineup and having the strength to guard a guy like Paolo Banchero in the post. We saw this with Jrue's first clip with him guarding Paolo in the post. Paolo can't just back down Jrue Holiday all the way under the basket and just overpower him. So he a lot of times elected to go with that turnaround fade, and Jrue got a great contest on all of them. And just another good sequence by Jrue Holiday, trading the play right there, gets the steal on Paolo Banchero. Again, Celtics, a big factor in this game was points off turnovers. They took advantage of damn near every turnover by the Orlando Magic. And in semi-transition here, the Celtics go to angle pick and roll with this drag screen by Jason Tatum. He sets it, they get the switch, and Anthony Black is over top of this play, so you know the roller is going to be open. A good angle for this pass by Jrue Holiday, puts it on Tatum, but he just ends up missing him. But the ball finds Jrue Holiday, he knocks down a 3. All right, so here we got Jrue driving on Gary Harris. This was one of his more impressive assists in this game. We got Franz Wagner checking Derek White. We got Paolo Banchero on Al Horford. And as Jrue drives, Paolo's going to step up. And then we have Franz taking Al Horford because Paolo, of course, stepped up. But Franz is still worried about Derek White just a little bit. So what Jrue's going to do, he's going to drive. He's going to look at Derek White just to force Franz to get off Al Horford just one step. And that's all the window that Jrue Holiday needs to get the ball down there for the layup. But that is the video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like, subscribe, and share it in everyone that you can. Just put out there a little bit more. Now we'll see you guys in the next video. This is Nick. Peace.